So I feel like my fragrance collection, my personal collection, things outside of actually reviewing for the channel is excessive. It's too much. It's out of control. I feel like it's more than I really want. And I look at it and I'm like, dude, this is just a source of anxiety for me at this point. I don't know how to choose what to wear. I feel attached to all these things and it's really just silly. Because when I started off with fragrances, my goal was to have like 10, 15, maybe 20 like really good ones. So how did I get from there to here? Like that's a question I've been asking myself. I really debated whether or not I should even open up this topic on my channel because I don't want this to come across as virtue signaling. Some people like to have 100, 200, 300 fragrances and that makes them happy and they can afford it. And that's perfectly fine. I know some people just find comfort in having a lot of options. I'm just not one of those people. That's just a personal thing for me. I like simplicity. I like every fragrance that I have of the 10 and 20 to be something I truly love and really invest my time with each one. Another reason I don't want to make this video, and I was really debating not doing it, is there's kind of this trend of like fragrance addicts coming out, and I don't want to be grouped in with that. I don't have some galactic problem. I didn't buy 5,000 fragrances overnight. I'm not here to be Captain Recovery of the perfumes. I don't have some divine solution or answer. Actually, I'm struggling letting go of the fragrances I have. And I think the most I've ever had at one time was 80. But I've been letting go and I would think I'm down to like 40. And really my goal is to get to the 10 to 20 mark, somewhere in there. Like that's just my personal choice. That's what I want. And when I started with fragrances, that was the goal. So what the heck happened? This is like me sharing my personal experience. This happened like 4, 5, 6 months ago at some point. I was just like, I have so many fragrances. What the hell is this? It's like a mental illness. Like it's literally like a cluster, like hoard. And I don't even know what to wear. And I feel bad if I'm not wearing everything. So I'm trying to wear things even if I don't really love them. And it really just felt like a pit of anxiety for me. Like at some point, like fragrances and having them and buying them, it felt like a source of joy. But at some point, the joy part got less and the anxiety part started to creep up where I'm like sitting on this hoard and I just don't know why. It's not making me happy. It's a source of mental clutter, like mental space almost. Something I spend way too much time thinking about, scrolling through, researching, and it felt like I was like on autopilot to some extent. It felt like this loop, and I feel like I got ahead of myself, and that's what happened here. But it's a loop of researching, looking for a deal, getting a really good deal, and feeling like I won something. So I get this dopamine rush, getting it in the mail, being excited about it for like a day or two, and then going back into the loop, and also getting caught in kind of like this marketing matrix where it's like I started believing things that were really crazy. Like I need a fragrance for every specific occasion. Like for instance, it's like I needed special occasion fragrances, and I say plural here, like I needed multiple of them, even though special occasions don't actually happen that often. That's why they are special occasions. So how many special occasion fragrances do I need? But I'm sitting on like 15 special occasion for the fall, special occasion for the winter, special occasion for the summer. And then it's like all these little, you need this for that. You need this for the office. You need this for a formal setting. You need this for night. You need this for morning. You need this to right after you leave the shower. And it's like, I kind of got in this marketing matrix of thinking I needed all these specific things and all these different types of smells. Oh, you need a bubblegum scent. Oh, you need a classic scent. You need a aldehydic scent. You need a oud scent. You need a Middle Eastern scent. You need this. You need that. And it's like I almost got caught up in this marketing matrix, and it was addictive. It was very addictive. And also just researching, getting bargains, having friends in fragrances, talking about fragrances. And it's like I got in this loop. And it's like my brain was kind of like on autopilot, and it was just about acquiring, letting go sometimes, really selling one thing to get another thing, almost like playing whack-a-mole somewhat. And it was just very time consuming. And at some point it started to feel icky when I stood back and looked at it all. Because I started this wanting like 10 to 15 good fragrances. Like what the hell happened? So then I got into this downsizing mindset and letting go of things, just letting them go. And honestly, when I let go of them, it's like there's this weird anxiety right before the actual let go. Anxiety about not having it, or this thing is worth more money than what I can get for it. And will this be a mistake? Will I be able to get this back? Like all these questions, am I being silly? Is this just a phase? Should I like give it time and come back to this decision? But the second I would sell the fragrance and actually ship it off, I wouldn't miss it at all. So it's like almost like there was like a seed of change, and I just like watered it by letting go of one thing at a time. And I let go of some fragrances I thought I would never sell. And I thought it would be galactic if I ever lost them, and they were super important to me. And then the second I got rid of them, I didn't really care. I didn't miss them. I don't think about them anymore. So that's been something that's been progressively happening. If you're in the Reddit, you're in the fragrance community where I sell fragrances, then you've seen this happening and you probably had questions about it. So that's where it all comes from. I didn't really get into this hobby to have 40 options in the morning. That's anxiety for me. I don't like the occupation of mental space. I really want like 10 to 15, maybe 20 that I absolutely love, because life is short. Each fragrance is like a 10-month commitment of my life. Forget the financial part of it. It's a 10-month commitment. I maybe only have like 70 bottles that I could wear for the rest of my life. Why would I waste my time wearing something just because I got a good deal on it, or wearing something that I don't totally love? I'd rather have 10 to 20 that I absolutely love, and 20 is a lot. That's gluttonous. I was sitting there downsizing and going down to 20. That it was weird. Like when I was trying to cut things off, it was really hard. But when I thought about the 10 I would have, I was like, what more do I need? So I made like a list of 10. I was like, you'll have Diaghilev, you'll have Promise, you'll have Nouveau Monde, you'll have Green Irish Tweed, you'll have Nor 29, you'll have Blue Oud. And by the time I got to 10, I sat back, looked at it, and I was like, bro, what else do you need in life? Like, you're going to have those. You're going to be good. Like, I don't know. Anything more than 10 starts to feel gluttonous, but I really could see myself going down to like 20 just to be realistic, but cutting down even more than that, to be honest. And this is just a thing. Like, I don't really believe in like the preaching recovery, preaching everybody has a problem with like addiction to fragrance. I think recovery and addiction are very subjective, personally defined concepts. Some people think they have a problem when it's pretty light, and I'm not here to invalidate, but in my perspective, oh, that's not really a problem compared to what I have. But then I see somebody worse than me, and it makes me feel better about the problem I have. Addiction is just a very personally defined where we are addicted. You don't have to buy 500 fragrances to be an addict. You can feel addicted and you have 14 fragrances. It's all a personal thing, and recovery is just a natural process. So I've talked about addiction and recovery before on YouTube quite a lot. And I really got out of that space. I'm not interested in it because everybody wants to be Captain Recovery, the king of inspiration, and take credit for other people's change and give divine messages and be the hope for the world. Everybody wants to change the world on YouTube, and I'm not with it, because what I learned about addiction and recovery is they're very natural processes. The flow of life takes us into more addictive ways, and we let go of certain things to get there. And we don't really know how it happened. It's one of those things where you look at all these bottles and you're like, how did I get here? And there was never a point where I sat there and said, I'm going to do this. It happened naturally. And it's almost like the flow of life took me down this stream and I let go of the branch. I remember the branches I was holding on to were things like spending $100 on a fragrance is a lot. Having more than 10 fragrances is too much. And that's me holding on the branch. And I slowly let go, and I let go, and I let go more, and I let go more, and I fell into addiction. Recovery is the same exact thing for me. That's what it's always been. The flow of life takes me in a different direction. Now I'm holding on to having 40, 50, 60 fragrances, and I'm slowly letting go, letting go, letting go. So recovery and addiction, like recovery, I feel like a lot of these rehabs and stuff like that, addiction treatment help, they want to take credit and charge you $30,000. I'm not saying that they don't help. Of course they do. They're part of that flow, that part of that process of life. But I feel like a lot of the credit belongs to life itself, to how life takes us through these different changes, these different arenas. And it belongs a lot to the individual who's also letting go of the branch and letting things flow. So my life is just kind of going in this natural way where I love doing the YouTube videos. I love buying the fragrance, reviewing it, giving you guys a good, honest review, no free bottles, and then selling the fragrance. I love the video production. I love my daughter that was born. She just turned a year old. I'm also getting really into Pilates, which is just a passion, and it's really been helping me with a lot of back issues. And I moved recently. So this is like the flow of life changing, where I'm not holding on to having a personal collection so much. And I see that it's not really conclusive to what I want in life. So I'm letting go of the branch. But the credit really comes to life, because life gave me all these blessings. It gave me this beautiful daughter. It gave me this passion, this newfound passion. It gave me this new home that I love, a beautiful wife. So I have so much. Why do I need more? And I feel like if I ask more of life, there's a point that it gets to be just, I'm a taker and I give nothing back. Now, this is a very weird concept, and it's kind of deep. This is just something I've learned. Things are natural. You could watch this video and it could plant a seed and you could choose to water it. And maybe this was a catalyst for change, but ultimately if you change, that's a responsibility of life bringing you on that path and you letting go of the branch. It has literally nothing to do with me. I don't want to be that guy. I just figured I'd open up this topic of excessive amounts of fragrance, not just the acquiring of them, the buying them just because they're a good deal, the constant cycle of researching, talking to people, taking it deeper, 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 and the dopamine rush of that, and the ups and the downs, just that whole thing. But also the hoarding, the inability to let go and cleanse and truly let go, not sell 10 and then buy 5, but like actually let go and downsize and have that mental space and minimalism and having that small perfective Hall of Fame collection. I feel like I'm gonna be one of the few YouTubers here who has a very small personal collection but reviews fragrances, because that's just my style. That's what I always wanted. That's like the end game of this whole thing. So I think it would have been important for me on this whole journey to occasionally ask myself, what is the end game? Like, why am I doing this? What's the point? Why am I taking it deeper, further, farther? And if the end game is to find the best fragrances, how many of the best fragrances are there? And at what point is it like, do I really need a top 100 in my living room? Or is a top 20 fine? You get what I'm saying with this? So I'm not a guru here. I just figured I'd open up the topic and have an honest dialogue with you guys. And I'm not fully let go. I'm not like, I totally get this thing, but I am awakening to it. Like, I'm becoming more aware of it, the insanity of it, and things like that. And I figured I would share with you guys why the downsize. And if I ever do like ultimately get down to a downsize, I'll share what those fragrances are and why I chose those. But one thing I'm noticing in my downsize is wearability matters. Like when you have like 60 fragrances, you can afford to have the Interlude 53 and the Moons of the world, things that you really don't have many occasions to wear them, and that are polarizing. Like, my wife can't stand the Moon. She doesn't like Interlude 53. My coworkers have complained about some of these fragrances. Like, the artistic fragrances that I can't really just wear become like almost first to go, to be honest. Like, and when I really get down to that 20, I'm okay having a couple artistic ones. Like, I know Zoologist Rhinoceros, Sacred Scarab, a lot of the zoologist fragrances, they're in there, but I don't want too many of them. And I focus more on what can I wear to the office, to the gym? What can I wear that, it's my day off and maybe it's a bit challenging, but it's ultimately fresh and enjoyable. Like, wearability seems to become a much bigger concern when I'm actually in a downsize. And that's almost like a big common factor in my list. But that list will come out probably a year from now, because this is like a process. I'm not, I changed my mind, I'm going to dump all the fragrances and overnight change. I don't want to act impulsively. I don't want to act crazy or erratic. I want to take my time and just let it seep out over time, and be okay with it, and ultimately arrive at what I feel confident in being a final fragrance collection. Then I'll share what those specific fragrances are with you guys, why I chose them, and really they just have a deeper setting with me. Like, there's something deeper about the way I resonate with them, and the wearability, and also the fragrance. This is me. There are some artistic fragrances out there. I love the art. I appreciate the smell. I actually like the smell, but ultimately it's just not me. And when I really get down to like 20 or 15, I want them to be wearable. I want them to be me. I want them to have special meaning. And that's very personal. So, sharing any list, I'm not saying these are yours. It's more sharing like, this is who I am in the world of fragrance. And you can share who you are, and it's all community, and everybody's opinion matters here. You know what I mean? And I love you guys, and I hope you got something from this video, my kind of rant on it. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.